and I won't forget the way that you called me back. And because of the hope you had, I'm forever changed. Yeah, I'm forever changed because of you.
It was kind of hard to do this video because I'm in the healing process, and so your hormones are going crazy. If you've ever been pregnant, if you've ever had pregnancy loss, if you've ever had a baby, then you know the feeling like your emotions are already, your hormones and stuff are already not in a good place. So I do share my life on YouTube and social media, so I knew eventually I would share our little story. It's been hard because of it, and going through the emotions myself, processing everything myself, and also being present for my 4 children. So if you follow me on other platforms, then you know that we were pregnant, but we are sadly not pregnant anymore. Basically, almost 3 months ago, I wasn't feeling well. I was having like a bunch of stomach pain, and I've had this stomach pain before then, so they don't think it's related to the pregnancy at all, that they think. But I was having a bunch of stomach pain, so I went to my regular doctor 3 months ago. It's kind of started after Thanksgiving, and then it recently just would come and go. But this time it was like staying, and it was like right underneath the top of my ribs. So I went to my regular primary care doctor. She was like, could you be pregnant? I was like, no, I don't believe so. I don't think I could be or should be. And she's like, oh, I'll take a test just to make sure. I was like, sure, because they were going to do an x-ray on me. So they did the pregnancy test. She came back and she was like, oh, I forgot to do it, but I'm going to do it. They did the x-ray. I come out, and she comes out, and she's like, no, you're not pregnant. So it's like, okay, I didn't think I would be. Fine. So they set up a CT scan for me to double check my gallbladder and my liver and all that. But the next day at home, I started not feeling the best, and I also started craving Chick-fil-A. And I normally do not crave Chick-fil-A. Yeah, I like Chick-fil-A, but I don't crave it. So I was like, something's off. And I was feeling way more tired than I should be, but I was like, well, they just gave me one and it said no. So it's a little bit confusing, but I took a pregnancy test and it came back positive like right away. Literally with no questions asked, it came back positive. So I took another one and the same thing happened. It came back completely positive. So I was like, I think I'm pregnant. I'm not sure, but I think that's what that means. So I called my OBGYN and tell them, hey, I've gotten back-to-back positive pregnancy tests, but my doctor said I wasn't pregnant. So I'm not quite sure if I am or not. And they said, well, there was no need for me to come in so early, that they would schedule me a February appointment, which we're in February now, that they would schedule me a February appointment so that way you can come in, I guess, closer to when you're going into your second trimester, which is what they call, like, I guess, like the safe stages, like you're getting out of the area where they would consider you losing the baby, which you can lose the baby on up to when you have the baby. I know all of that, but that's just kind of what they call it. I don't think they should call that anymore because anything can happen. And you'll have to excuse me because I am healing. I lost a lot of blood. It's probably why I look a little pale. I get short of breath. I get tired easy, but I'm only 5 days in of healing. So I'm doing the best I can. But anyways, I said, okay. So we made the appointment. And then I went about my day. We went on walks. I walked. I didn't do like hardcore exercising, but I still kept walking because I wanted myself to feel better. I wanted to make sure health-wise I felt good, and I wanted to have a healthy pregnancy anyway, and not gain back all the weight that I had gained. But either way, I didn't care as long as the baby's okay. But I still would walk. I did everything like normal. except, caffeine and things like that that you would normally watch, making sure I don't eat too much fish or whatever they say, all those kinds of things. But then one day I started having a bunch of cramping, and so I thought for sure that I was going to be losing the baby. I started having some bleeding, but it wasn't anything major. I've never experienced that with my other pregnancies. I've never had any type of like cramping or bleeding occur, but they do say some women have that and it's fine. Implantation and all, whatever they call it, all that kind of stuff. But they just said if it gets to a point where it's really bad, that's when you need to be concerned. So at the moment, they told me to just carry on my days, and that they can't say for sure, but that I could be still okay. So I said, okay, well, by the 4th or 5th week, I wouldn't say like the bleeding got worse. It stayed the same, but the color changed. It became more of a brighter color. And so that freaks me out a little bit. So I called the doctor again a few weeks out and told him, hey, I'm having some changes now. It's still not dramatic, but it's some changes. So they recommended me going to the emergency room to getting checked out. So I went to the emergency room. They did blood work on me. They did an ultrasound, and they said my blood work did come back with a positive pregnancy test, and that it was like, I guess my levels were showing that I was pregnant, but they said it was a little bit on the low side, but not anything like they were too concerned, but they wanted me to recheck it. The ultrasound found that they had like a fetal pole, but they could not find any heartbeat, which is common because I was so early. So they recommended me going back to my regular doctor in 2 days to retest everything. So basically when you're pregnant and you're having complications, or they're just checking on you in general, they said it's best to go 2 days, is what my doctor told me, 2 days, because you're supposed to like double with your level. So as you're pregnant and your pregnancy is going to succeed, you're going to double in your numbers, double in your blood work. Your ultrasound is going to week by week change and grow. Your sac is going to grow, the baby's going to grow, all those things, all those changes for a healthy pregnancy. So I go back to my doctor in 2 days. They recheck it. My blood work does go up, but it does not like double or anything. I go up like 1,000. So I was like at 2,000, I went up to 5,000, then I went up to 6,000. So I'm going up, but I'm not going up dramatically. And so they are concerned with possibly the baby not making it because of my numbers not like doubling. But I was praying and I was thinking positive and talking to different friends, and they had like low numbers or things like that. So I was like, maybe everything will be okay. And if it's not, there's not much I can do but trust God and accept that that's what the plan He had, no matter how much it hurts, or you grieve or whatever. It's His plan, and you have to accept it. Even you can still feel the pain, of course, of everything you're going through and the stress. But I tried to think positive. So they're like, we're gonna have you come back in a week. Unless something changes to where your symptoms get worse, you're gonna come back in a week. We'll recheck everything. Even though I was praying and thinking positive, I was still trying to tell myself like it may not be good. So I go in, and the baby actually has a heartbeat. They said it's not extremely high. It was at 94, but there was a heartbeat. So the baby had a heartbeat. It had grown some. So I was like, okay, this is a little fighter. We're doing this. And so we got a little bit more excited. Felt pretty good. I didn't have any more symptoms. My bleeding had stopped. My cramping had stopped. So I was feeling pretty good. I then decided not to walk. I wanted to wait until things were a little bit more better, to give my body some time to rest a little bit. And then they wanted to recheck me in a week because of the heart rate being so low, to see if it had increased or whatnot. So I go to the hospital. It's a scheduled ultrasound. I'm not going to the hospital for an emergency or symptoms. They scheduled it at the hospital. we go in, we let the ultrasound tech know kind of what's going on, and I think this is what was very hurtful, and I'm still kind of traumatized by it. I did let my doctor know this did occur. I did kind of fill out a survey on the hospital, but I didn't know what else to do as far as like reaching out to let someone know this happened. I'm not sure if this is a common thing. I don't know if it's something that other women have gone through, but the lady was like, okay, I want to calm your nerves. I want to make you feel better. So she took the ultrasound device and put it on top of my stomach and was like, see, the baby has a heartbeat. You're fine. She showed us the flickering. We saw a flicker, which is so confusing. Like, we saw literally the flickering on the screen. And she's like, you can breathe now. She's like, I don't know the details until, because they're going to do the insert ultrasound. Because I am so early, she's like, I don't know all the details, but I just wanted you to breathe. So we both looked at each other, and of course Brad's reaction was like, it better be a boy. We have 3 girls. It better be a boy. I have a son, but we have 3 girls back to back. So he was like, it better be a boy. And we were getting excited. I was able to breathe a little bit. Then she did the insert one. She was doing things, and she kept asking me over and over how far along I was, what should it be at, and I should have been, past 2 months. And she kind of turned to the screen, and that made me get nervous. And I kind of looked at Brad, and I kind of looked at her, and I was like, what's going on? And then she kind of breathed out, and she's like, I'm so sorry, the baby does not have a heartbeat. And she's like, I apologize. I don't know what I saw in the beginning. I'm not sure if I saw your heartbeat or what, and I'm so sorry that it did that way, and I should have done better on my part, but the baby did not survive, and it no longer has a heartbeat. As soon as she said those words, of course, we both kind of lost it, and I was very frustrated with her and very angry. Because it made an experience that was already bad and traumatic and sad. It made it worse because of what she did in the beginning, and I hope that doesn't happen to any other couple or any other woman ever. So I got dressed, and I asked her repeatedly, are you sure? And she said yes. I told Brad that we needed to leave because I'm a very religious person, and I love my Lord. And I always want him to know that I trust him. But I do have moments of weakness. I am not perfect by any means, and Jesus makes up for that. And so I could feel myself getting really, really upset. And I said to him, we need to get out of this room. I'm not only upset because of the news, but I'm upset how she just traumatized us and the way she did it. And so we quickly left. I reached out to my doctor, letting her know everything that had happened, and she said we can repeat an ultrasound. But the radiologist is the one to confirm it, not the ultrasound tech. And the radiologist said that the baby, it didn't have any heartbeat, it didn't have anything. So I go to the doctor, they did a repeat ultrasound. It does show that the baby has passed. It passed about a few weeks ago. And no, I'm not saying this because I'm not emotional, but I have cried probably every day for the past few weeks now. And I'm just kind of numb at the moment and exhausted and just healing. So it's not that I'm not have no emotions. It's just that I'm trying to get through this so I don't have to keep stopping and going. And I also don't want to keep talking about it, as odd as that sounds. There's just nothing I can do about it but try to heal from it and know that we have a baby in heaven that it will be waiting for us when it is our time. My dad, my grandma, Brad's grandma's up there, so the baby is in good hands until it is our time. But after that, the decision was either to take like this little pill that kind of helps you progress the miscarry or let your body go naturally. I said, let's go natural. We waited it out for a while. It's not happening. My levels actually went up to like 17,000. So It's so weird how I went from 6,000 to all of a sudden 17,000 and the baby was passing. But they said sometimes your body can do that when things are just happening, even through the moments of passing. But it was basically my body was not recognizing that I was losing the baby. So it was kind of like holding on to it in a sense. So they did end up suggesting the D&E or D&C procedure, basically to go ahead and get everything out safely. I've had a miscarriage in the past, Brad and I had, and I've had where it did not go good at home, and I ended up being rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery, passing out, and needed a blood transfusion. So that was causing me a lot of anxiety and PTSD. I did not want to go through that again. He travels for work. We have 2 toddlers here. I do have some close friends that probably would run to me if needed, but I was really scared of like waking up in the middle of the night or being alone or being even at their school and having to be rushed to the hospital. And so their surgery, even though it does have a lot of risk, was the best option. So I did have that 3 days ago now. So I am still healing pretty much and tired. Apparently I got angry during the surgery and I had ripped out my IVs and they had to stick me, I think 8 times when it was supposed to be only 1 IV. When I went to sleep, because I did have anesthesia, it was in this hand only. And then when I woke up, I had literally these little bruises. This one, I have them all over my arms, all over the top here is swollen, and then this hand was pretty beat up. I had it one underneath where my watch is. This hand, I think, got it the worst. I don't know if you could see how bruised that is. But basically, I guess I got angry during that process, and I was like, well, I could see why. But so my arms are pretty sore. I kept having a lot of pain here, and I'm like, oh, why am I so sore? But I have a huge bruise and dot there, but they're just like all over my arms. But I guess apparently I was not a happy camper, and I was ripping all of them out. I'm healing, I think, for the most part, good. I just need to listen. I am not a sit-down person, especially when there is stuff or trauma or things going around. I like to clean and decorate and do things. And we did my son's room, and it probably is not the best time to be doing all of this stuff, but it helps mentally. So I am healing good. I think I'm prolonging the healing process because of me not being able to sit still and listen to my body and to want to clean and do things. And I still am a mom of 2. He still has to, or mom of 2, oh my gosh. I still am a mom of 4 with 2 toddlers. And we had a big snowstorm, so the kids were at home, and then they're out of school today for teacher work day. And then I've got my 2 toddlers. He's got to go back to work, and he's a crane operator. So I need to listen to my body and sit down when I can, and I haven't been doing that, and I need to learn to do that and give myself grace. If you are going through this, a pregnancy loss, no matter what the stages are, know that you are not alone. It is hard, and I also don't think people talk about the stages of in-between loss, where you find out that you've lost your baby, but your body naturally has not released it, or you have not had surgery yet, or what the case may be. We went 3 weeks almost with the in-between stages of being pregnant but not pregnant, and I think that was a really hard stage. Touching your belly and like jerking it away, and like the emptiness feeling. I don't think a lot of people talk about that much. Also, after surgery, it was a very weird feeling of my body felt like I had a baby, but there was no baby. And so that feeling of like, where's your baby, is a really weird feeling that you feel. Like you feel like you're supposed to have a baby with you, but you don't. You don't feel pregnant anymore, but you feel like you had a baby. So it's like a weird feeling that I don't see a lot of people talking about, and maybe women try to shelter those feelings, or I just haven't came across anybody's, that's talking about it. But the in-between stages and the after feeling, it's a very lonely, even though I'm not alone, it's a very lonely and weird feeling that it may never go away. I am doing okay mentally. Of course, your hormones, once everything happens, your hormones will rapidly decrease. And then you go back for a follow-up in a few weeks. They will check your numbers because they want to get you down to a certain level. But if your body's doing it naturally, then I'm on the stages of the few days that are, they consider the rough days, like between 3 and 5, 3 and 6 days after the procedure. Your hormones will suddenly try to dramatically drop. So you just need to pay attention and be self-aware mentally. And if you're having sadness or anger, hopefully you have a partner that is as patient as mine. He's bringing me flowers. I don't know if you can see on the daily. He checks on me. He has been cleaning and cooking, even though he's been working so long hours and stuff and helping me with the kids. But just know that it is okay that you're feeling that way, that it's normal. And it's almost like a sigh of relief because you're supposed to be feeling that way, even if you're not feeling good. So I feel very exhausted today. I feel a little sad today. More sad than I was, and it's probably the fluctuation of your hormones. But I told my mom and my sister, like, it's okay that I'm feeling this way because I have a reason, and normally it would cause me anxiety and make my symptoms like worse. But I know that I'm feeling this way because I just lost a baby, and my body is trying to figure itself out, and my hormones, and also just the grief of mentally knowing that you just lost a baby. So I know that I'm feeling this way for a reason. It's just not out of the blue or, for no reason. So I think that helps with my anxiety, know that it's for a reason, if that makes sense. But I just wanted to say, if you are going through this, you're not alone, and leave comments down below. I think we have a good group of community of women that we can support each other. People on other platforms have been so gracious and praying for me in my church. I've had so many people reach out to us, and I cannot thank you guys enough. I know everybody's going through stuff, and sometimes I look at what we go through, I'm like, compared to others, it's not so bad. But even with that, the other people are going through way worse stuff and things like that. It doesn't take away that we have not gone through something, and I know it's okay to be sad and have some grief, and to heal and to pray and to give it to the Lord. So I hope God can forgive me because I am giving it to Him, but during the process of giving it to Him, I will have some sadness along with it. So I think that's human nature, and that we need to give ourselves grace to know that even if you have a strong background of faith and a strong believer, that we are all human and we are not perfect, and it is okay to have grief during those times and sadness. Like, it's okay. It doesn't believe you don't believe in God. So I just wanted to post this video just to let you guys know and be aware of like kind of what's going on, but also maybe to help someone else that's going through it or has gone through it or that is healing, that you're not alone, and that we will get through this together. So thank you guys for all the love and support. It really does mean a lot during this time. So just thank you guys. And we're just going to be healing for a little bit and getting through this the best way we can. Bye, guys.